often don't realize that we are the key to our own happiness, and that happiness starts with healing and transformation. Whether you need healing, guidance, clarity, understanding, or just some honest sister talk to feel connected, heard, and supported, you are welcome and safe here. So join the conversation and be healed. Welcome to Soul Healing Conversations with your host, Roz Kincaid.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Healing Conversations. I appreciate y'all listening today, and I hope the new year is treating you well. It's a new beginning. It's a new year. It's a new day. And I have since Christmas been saying to the people around me is that it's time to manifest something new. I ain't going to play with you today. It's time to create something new. But listen, today I came to share some thoughts and insights that Spirit has laid on my heart. But before we get into that, let me say that if you would like to hear, if you like what you hear today and would like more, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, then I invite you to book a session with me at rozkincaid.com. In addition to that, I am also offering some free content on my website this week. And it's been there for a few weeks now. So if you are interested in learning some practices on how to master your energy, implement some self-care, kind of work through some things, then I invite you to go to my website and download the latest freebie called 10 Practices to Mastering Your Energy. Take advantage of that in case you need something tangible to guide you and lead you. There's some pretty good tips that Spirit handed down to me that I wanted to share with the collective. So also you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Soul Healing with Roz to stay connected to learn more about all the things that I'm doing. I do have some things planned for this year. I'm going to be launching at some point a pilot group coaching program. So stay tuned for that. And it's in the infancy stages. So kind of been in the lab working and pouring out my brain, my blood, sweat, and tears to create something special for you guys. So stay tuned and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Soul Healing with Roz. So real quick, I need to talk politics, which I don't do often because I don't want no beef. Last night we had the Georgia State Senate runoff, which I think still might be going on now. And as a result, one of those Senate seats have turned blue. And for those of you who are not in the U.S., the color red represents Republican, the color blue represents Democratic. So we kind of got two sides of, our government opposing each other right now and fighting for control. And while these changes in these seats is major, 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 to me, there's nothing more major and more important than highlighting and giving a shout out to Stacey Abrams, Melanie Campbell, Latasha Brown, Insay Ufat, and all of the many, many other Black women who are out there or were out there or still out there encouraging people to take action towards change. These ladies have been on the front line, just encouraging people to exercise their right, their privilege, their right and their privilege to vote, to do something about making change in the environment in which they live. And specifically, I know Stacey Abrams has gone to felons who have, who are no longer incarcerated and saying, hey, did you know that you can vote? There is a way that you can still cast your vote and with you being a felon. So shout out to all of the women, nothing against any other races of women, but Black women. We know how to get it done. We know how to make it happen. And I cannot, let this day go by without, giving a special shout out to women who look like me, who come from similar backgrounds as me, and just giving them all of my love and support for what they are doing to help us to create a different environment, a different way of life for us to at least do our part to affect change. So here we are again with Sister Saving the Day. And I keep telling y'all, Black women are real superheroes. So I'm like, nothing against anybody else. I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. So let's go ahead and get into these thoughts and insights that I have for spirit. And I don't really have any, real format, just kind of being in the flow today with what spirit has laid on my heart. And so I'm hoping that what I'm about to say or what I'm going to be sharing strikes a chord in somebody today, or gets you to look at your life in a different perspective. Because here we are again, once again. We have a new year. We have a new opportunity to do something different, to create something different. It's time to manifest something new. I'm going to be saying that probably until 12/31/21. It's time to create something new. So we are in a space and time where we have to unbecome in order to become. And I need to pull my phone out because this came to me through an Instagram post that just really struck me the other day. And I had to share it on my site here. And it says, and I reposted this on my Instagram. See, this is why, yes, the other reason why you need to get up on my gram and my Facebook, so you can see all of this juicy content that I'm sharing from other people. Like, I don't make all this stuff up. Now, come on. There's nothing new under the sun. And this post says, forget becoming anything. Try unbecoming everything you were told you needed to be that was never you in the first place. I mean, how profound is that? Like, seriously, try unbecoming everything you told you were needed to be that was never you in the first place. And so for me, that says that we really have to take advantage of the opportunity to start to look at all of the things that we were told and handed to that says, here's who you need to be. Here's who I want you to be. Here's who you're supposed to be. Here's how you are supposed to move and flow through life. And I'm not talking about not having morals and, not having, being unscrupulous and just out here wilding out and just, doing any damn thing you want and not, counting the cost and all of that. But I'm talking about the conditioning that was laid upon us or handed to us from generation to generation to generation, whether it was directly spoken and taught to you, such as hate or racism, privilege, stuff like that, or whether it was taught to you indirectly through somebody's behavior, somebody's actions, somebody's energy, because psychology says that we really don't start to create, have trauma created in our lives until from the age of 5 to 7. That's when it really starts to all go down. And that's when the conditioning really, really starts to happen. But I kind of feel like it starts to happen before then. That's just my personal thought. And so it is now time for us to look at the ways that we have been conditioned and how those things have really served us. Unbecoming everything you were told you needed to be. Because, and why were you told that? Well, maybe because somebody else needed you to be that in order for them to be what they wanted to be. But if you look under the surface, you were told to be those things that you never were in the first place. You were never supposed to not speak your truth. You were never not supposed to, have creative thoughts. You were never not supposed to, not take chances if that's what you wanted to do. And somewhere along the lines, well-meaning caregivers, out of, fear, out of insecurity, out of judgment, out of whatever the case may be, well-meaning, because this ain't no judgment against mama, daddy, grandmama, aunts, uncle, sister, brother. They were only doing the best that they knew how. And when you know better, you do better. #do better. And so we were taught to be certain things. For example, I had a client come in for an energy session, and somehow we got on the topic of belief systems. And she has learned to put everybody else first, handle everybody else's needs first, put yourself on the back burner. And without me really knowing the details of why I was saying what I was saying, I told her, I was like, maybe you should look at where that belief system comes from, that, not that you're not worthy, not that you're not deserving, but I have to put myself last, take care of everybody else first and put myself last. And as she, we went ahead with the session. And when she got off my table, she said, I think I know where it came from. This comes from, having stress in the house, major shifts and changes with her parents in the home. And it was like, okay, take care of all these needs first and then get to yourself. And that has spilled over into her adult life, where she, balls to the wall, doing everything for everybody and neglecting herself. And I said, well, it might be time to unbecome all of that. Maybe it's time to unbecome all of that, because here's what I know. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. So if you're tired of hearing it, oh well. But if you don't start to make changes in your life, in your energy, your body, your spirit team is going to do it for you. Your body's going to start breaking down. And then it's going to sit your ass down. It's going to sit it down for you. And so now, like I said, now is the time to really start to look at what conditioning have I been allowing to inform my choices? How have I been showing up in my life based on conditioning? What or who do I need to unbecome because it wasn't me in the first place? And some of this might require you guys, or us, not just you guys, but hell, I'm in this too, require us to go into our childhood and do some digging around and doing some analysis and doing some, inner child work, whatever that looks like for you. I don't know. You might need to write a letter to your little self. You might need a past life regression. You might need some energy healing. You might need a coaching session. Whatever it is that spirit is laying on you, whatever support spirit is laying in your heart to get in order for you to undo some of these things that have you feeling trapped and bound and contracted, like you can't get out, like you can't be who you want to be because you're fearful of what other people going to say, think, do, criticize, whatever the case may be. It's time to start looking at that, because listen, here's what I know. We cannot continue this year, 2022, 2023, so on and so forth, being and doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It's going to hinder you. It's going to stunt your growth. And because we're all connected, when we choose not to expand and grow and do the work that we're actually being drawn to look at, that's why the shit's coming up. Because it needs your attention. It needs your acknowledgement. It needs you to look at it and do something about it. And it's saying, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. I'm trying to give you a message. I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you that I want to serve you in a different way. And I'm talking about fear specifically, really, because that's what's been coming up mostly for me. And I know if it's coming up for me, it's coming up for somebody else too. So unbecoming, that's point one today. Unbecoming. Who did you want to be when all the conditions were being laid on you, being imposed on you? And then they became behaviors, and then they became habits. Unbecoming, y'all. We got to unbecome to become. So, next point. kind of leads, ties into the unbecoming part. Being intentional about who you are creating for yourself. You got to start asking some questions about why you are, around your intentions for what you're creating, right? You can't just this year start making goals and setting intentions without really doing some analysis to understand why do I want to make this change? Because really at the bottom of this, we got to stop doing this autopilot stuff that we do. Living in autopilot, just making, unintentional, unconscious choices. We can't just check the boxes anymore. That's not going to give us the quality of life that we really want. And let me tell you how I know that there's a better quality of life that you want, because there's contrast in your life. There's things that are aggravating to you, that irritate you. You're unhappy. You're agitated. You got attitude. You're not happy. You're not joyful. Things bother you. You're bothered. You're not unbothered. You're bothered. And so now is the time to right the ship. Turn it around. Stop checking the boxes. Stop checking the boxes. A coach told me, and this is going to sound real simple, and it's going to sound easier said than done, but it really is that simple. But a coach told me is that if you don't like the experience that you having, don't have that experience. And I know some of y'all's minds are saying, well, if I choose not to have this experience anymore, then this is going to happen. That person's going to say this person's going to feel this way, this, that, A, B, C through Z. And I get it. I get it. I get it, because we're so, everything that we've done has become so attached to something else, somebody else. And it's almost like a domino effect, But really, if you don't like the experience that you're having, like in this moment, have another experience. Stop having that experience. And so I know that, and I know that I've posted before that, the experience that you're having now is the experience that you're supposed to have. Well, maybe you're supposed to have that experience to tell you that this ain't the experience I want. It's almost like, I'll give a basic example of having a job. It's like having all of these different jobs and going from this job to this job, and I don't like this job. I don't like the people here. I don't like the type of work I'm doing. And then you quit that job and you go to another job. And the same thing happens. And it becomes this cycle where it's like none of these jobs that I have, I don't like them. Well, that's key information. That's valuable data. That's very valuable data, because that tells you that maybe this ain't the job for you. This type of work ain't for you. So it is for life experiences with people, outside of people, career, money, relationships, all of it. It's time to really tighten up and evaluate what it is that you want to bring into your life that's going to give you joy and satisfaction. So Dr. Nicole LaPera, the holistic psychologist, texted me, and not just me personally, but I'm in this group that she sends a group text, and it appears as if she's texting me personally, but I know she's not, which is fine. But I got one of her texts as part of her soul healing group, and it says, living an intentional life means making choices in alignment with who you wish to be and what you wish to experience. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Living an intentional life means making choices in alignment with who you wish to be and what you wish to experience. See, because if you lay it all out and you look at it, and I even had this light bulb moment myself, like right before Christmas. If you lay it all out and look at the spread of your existence right now and everything that led up to you being at this point in your life, it's like, damn, I've been asleep. I've been asleep at the wheel, just saying yeah to anything. Just saying yeah out of fear. Agreeing to do things and be a part of things out of wanting to belong, wanting to be accepted. Just unintentionally choosing things, just like she said in the quote, not being in alignment with your soul, not being in alignment with what makes you feel good. And some people will argue, well, yeah, not make choices based on how you feel. Well, what else you supposed to do? And I'm not saying abort and abandon all logic and, things being realistic. I ain't saying be stupid. I'm not saying be a fool. Well, don't be unintelligent, because, everybody's a fool. Everybody jumps out there and takes a risk and does something new. But anyway, besides the point, you have to start participating in your life. That's what I'm trying to say. You got to start participating in your life from a place that is not influenced by the shadow. Not that you ignore the shadow, the fear, the judgment, the anger, the depression, all of that, the overwhelming feelings, all of those things that are low vibe, that makes you feel contracted and low vibe. You don't ignore all of that stuff, but you don't live from that place. I know that now. And while you may not be able to change anything, any decision that you made, in the past and up to this point, you can fix it going forward. You can do something different going forward. You can always do something different going forward because you got the key. You have the answer. You calling the shots. It's your life. Do whatever you want. Well, I got this to think about, and what about this person? I can't do this because this person depends on me. Okay, fine. I understand. And I'm not saying listen, I am a parent. I have my own responsibilities. And while I have a responsibility to my child, I have to be considerate as well and somewhat calculated about the moves I make. But at the same time, that also should help you to be more intentional about what you're doing. Instead of just out here, being all, cavalier and making choices all willy-nilly because you're trying to just float on with the crowd. Or maybe you're not trying to fit in with the crowd. You just want to go along to get along to keep the peace. And, you don't want, whatever the case may be. You have to start living life with intention and getting in alignment with your heart and soul and start making choices from that place. But because let me tell you what, as much as you're a soul and we're spirit and we're part of spirit and we come from source and we're made up of all this great magic and good stuff, we still living in a body. We still have feelings. We still feel when something ain't right. We still feel in our body, in our heart, in the tightening of our chest, and the tension in our neck and shoulders and our back. In the tightness in our pelvic area that keeps us from creating new life. We still feel that, and that tells us something ain't right. Something's not in line. Something's not in formation. I'm doing something that's got me out of formation. And you can go and get all the hands laid on you and stuff all the crystals down your bra and in your pockets all you want, and have people, play sound over you as much as you want. But until you start to wake it up and make conscious decisions and start making some hard decisions, some tough choices to get yourself back in alignment, you're going to be feeling the same way you was feeling in 2000. Let's take it back that far. 2000. And I don't know why they could bring that year up for me, but something must have happened with y'all in the year 2000. It's been 20 years. It's time for a change. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to switch up the game plan. There's absolutely nothing wrong with making a course correction. You got every right to change your mind. You got free will. You get to create what your life, the rest of your life looks like. You get to say what that looks like, because nobody is living it but you. And in the back of my mind, ain't nobody gonna pay my bills but me. Well, okay, the same concept. Nobody is, when you cross over. Listen, let me put it to you this way before I cut the break. There's only one way out. Nobody is getting out of life alive. You understand me? Nobody is getting out of this life alive. We all, it ends the same way for everybody. And so while you're here, wait for that ending, whenever it's going to be, why not make the best of it? Why not live out the rest of it in abundance, in joy, in peace, the way you want to? That's why you came here. That's part of the reason why you came here, is to enjoy life. Yeah, you're going to learn some lessons. You're going to work some things through. You're going to have some heartache and some pain. But what about the flip side of that? What about all the great experiences you can have? You intended to have. You just going to let that just lay and lay to the side and dry up? You deserve better than that, man. So listen, I gotta take a break. It's time for a quick break. I'll be right back with more thoughts and insights from Spirit. Back after this.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back to Soul Healing Conversations, everybody. I'm your host, Roz Kincaid, and today I'm just sharing my thoughts and insights that Spirit has laid on my heart. I mean, I really don't have a topic today, and that's okay because I'm just going to go with the flow today. And I honestly think that's part of my lesson this year is to just be in flow. And sometimes when you are not in flow, that shit gets exhausting. That's the energy I'm on right now. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to continue to be in the wrong flow. Let's say it like that. Being in the wrong flow. And before the break, I had talked about unbecoming in order to become unbecoming those things that we were conditioned to be, that we really never were supposed to be. Stop living on autopilot and being more intentional about creating your life, creating a life experience that you really want to have, and really starting to ask some questions around your intentions in the first place, and quit with this living on autopilot situation, living unconsciously and not really paying attention to what choices you're making and really why you're making those choices. I ain't trying to say you got to overanalyze things and shrink your own head, but pay attention to some stuff. Pay attention to the things that you keep choosing to do, but don't bring positive results or lasting results or positive lasting results. So let's move on because in making those choices, in making intentional choices that allow us to live in alignment, there's this balancing act that we have to do with leading with the heart and the head. A lot of times we make decisions from a more logical place and completely neglect what we feel in our heart. And I'm not saying that, we ignore the reality of our situations or the reality of the choices that we make or be unrealistic. That's what I'm trying to say. You got to be realistic. I mean, come on. You living in society. So you got to be realistic. But there is this balancing act that you got to start to do if you want to live more in alignment with what's in your heart. You have to drop your, and I don't really know how else to say it, but there's an energy that lives in our head, and it's busy energy. And when we allow that energy to drop from our head down into our heart space and really feel into like, man, I really want that. Like, man, I really would like to be living that experience or feel this way from this experience. That is when we start to really manifest some things and start to see tangible results in our life. So I got another quote for you. Brie Bellafuel, who was on the show last year. I love Brie. I love her content. Brie is out here really doing her work. And she's been so kind to get on social media and share it with us all. Whether you black, white, green, yellow, purple, whatever, the content still applies. And the other day, right after I got that text from the holistic psychologist, I see Bree's post and it just blew my damn mind. I'm like, the synchronicity. And Bree's post said, and I quote, "Creating a life based on decision from the mind will create a life that is built by conditioning. Creating a life based on what it feels like in your body will create a life built by your soul. Your feelings are messengers guiding you home. So see, that's what I'm talking about when I say, yeah, you're a soul, you're a spirit, living a human experience, but you also got a body too. And you got to pay attention to what your body is saying through your feelings. You got to pay attention to the contrast. You got to pay attention to, how things make you feel. When they're presented to you. Do they resonate? That's what people mean by, well, does this resonate to you? Does it feel right in your body to you? Because here's the other thing. We really have to start to rely on and trust our own internal guidance system. We have to really start to have an intimate relationship with our internal guidance system. And some of y'all might call that God, Jesus, Allah, the universe, spirit, source, higher self, whatever it is you call it, it's on the inside of you. You got it. And we really have to start trusting it. Your intuition is always saying, bitch, you better listen. Bitch, you better listen. Because it will never steer you wrong. And trust and believe, when you start to make decisions that are soul-based and from your heart and that make you feel better about your experience and your existence, y'all got to know that spirit has got your back. It ain't gonna listen. It's gonna feel uncomfortable at first. It's gonna feel hard and challenging. Like, damn, I can't make this decision. I can't let this go, because for all of this time you have been living an experience and making choices from your mind that have created this false sense of security. It looks secure. It looks secure on the outside. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The nice house, the nice car, the nice cushy job. Yeah. It all looks secure, but ain't none of it really making you happy. Is it giving you a headache? Is it robbing you of your sleep and your rest and your peace? But yet you continue to do it because you in this relationship with that experience that I'm gonna give you this all of this security and in this comfort. If you just ignore your soul, ignore what it is that you want, keep following that conditioning. And so your feelings you start to get in your feelings. You start to, feel a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Angry, I guess. I don't know. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the spirit is having me think about my own personal experience. So for years, for those of you that don't know, I have worked in, the information technology field as a project manager for this going on 20 years now, maybe more. And I came up through the ranks as a coordinator, on and on, and really kind of built a career as a strong and solid project manager who people know that if you give me a project, the shit's going to get done. It's going to get done right. It might be over budget. Might be behind schedule, but it's going to get done. And I'm going to hold people accountable because, you ask a fire sign to get on some. Listen, we're going to be about that action. Okay. But for all of the time, it would be almost like every 6 to 8 months. It was like, I'm over this. I'm over this. I want to quit. I want to go do something else. I want to go do something else. But this voice in the back of my mind was like, girl, you better not quit your job. What about that good paycheck you get? And what about them benefits? What about, your reputation? What you gonna do? Like, how you gonna live? Even when I started to do this type of work, and when I started to create what used to be Karmic Wellness Center, which is now Soul Healing with Roz. And I decided, listen, I want to step away from 9 to 5 and really start to transition into serving the collective with my gifts from my soul, from my heart. And here we go again with this conversation in my head. Well, what you gonna do? What about your benefits? I mean, you got a family to feed. I mean, how you gonna pay your mortgage? All of this conversation starts to come up in my head, and it keeps me in that energy of feeling stuck. So I continue to do it, and I continue to do it. All the while, my body is telling me, my feelings are saying, "Girl, you know this ain't what you gonna do. Like your heart ain't into this." But then I go and see my clients, and I get all lit up. And I get all excited. But then I have to go back to, you need to pay these bills. You need your job to pay these bills. And so now I have to sit down and start to realistically look at, okay, how am I going to make this work? What is my plan? What is the plan? Collaborating with spirit now and my internal guidance system. Saying, how can I get to success? How can I get to abundance without feeling like I am chained and tied to a dead end 9-to-5 that pays me well? That happens to pay me well. What decisions, what life can I create that is based on my soul's desire? Because you're always creating something, whether you're creating it from the mind space, from your head space, or from your heart space. And because let me tell you what, everything that reflects back to you is everything that you've created, either consciously or subconsciously. And that's why I keep saying in this show today is that if you want to see different things, more positive things reflected back to you in your life, whether that be in relationships, in your job, in your money, in your health, you got to start making decisions from a different place. You got to start making decisions and start to open yourself up to more abundance. Making decisions that open you up to more abundance. And see, some of y'all got it twisted and think that abundance is money. It ain't. It ain't always money. Abundance can be joy, freedom, time, more time, abundance of time. Get out of your head a little bit. Get out of your head a little bit and get down into your heart space and feel. And for some of y'all need to pause. Take a pause. It's all right to take a pause. You can take a break, take a time out, take a knee. Take a knee and really sit with yourself. And this don't even have to be no heavy, deep meditation. Just get still. Stop being a damn busybody and stop for a minute and figure out what the hell it is you want. Give yourself the time and space to really be open to receiving clarity and allowing yourself to feel into an experience that you want to have in your life. But there's a flip side to that, and it's called detachment. See, you can't cast a wish. Wish upon a star, hope and pray, and want all of these great things in your life, and then dictate how it comes. That's just not how it works. That's just not how it works. There are things that you do in the process of manifesting, and then there are things that Spirit does, God does, to help you manifest that. Now, you're going to have to get out of God's way and let him do his work on your behalf. Because, yes, there's a part of you that knows what you want. You feel into that. You're intentional about making your choices, but there's some stuff in the background that you can't see too. And God knows, he knows best. He knows it all. See, he's sitting up in the skybox seeing everything. You're on the field playing. You can't see who's open. You know what I'm saying? You might not can see the wide receiver all the way in the end zone. You can only see the running back. But God is up in the skybox, seeing it all. And he's saying, wait. I'm gonna give you this, but hold on. Let me do a little work. Let me switch this play a little bit to make it real right for you. So there's this art of detaching that has to happen, that we have to learn. We have to detach from how it's going to play out. You know, we have to detach from, yes, want what you want, but you got to give up needing to know how it's going to work out. You have to give up part of you have to give up some of the details of your plan and leave room for spirit to hook it up. Like, seriously. Because when you start to attach to the outcome and how it comes and the ins and out, and you stop focusing on the what, it becomes counterproductive and you defer it. You doing that ends up deferring what you want, because it's almost like you tie spirits' hands behind their back. It's like, well, damn, if you're gonna do it all, it's like asking listen, here we go. Here it is. They just gave it to me. It's like asking somebody to do something for you and then telling them how to do it. I'm like, well, shit, if you want me to do it, then let me do it my way. That's what spirit is saying. You're asking me to give you something. Well, let me give it to you in a way that's going to be best for you. And so you have to come away. You have to step away, cast the wish, set the intention, but you have to let go of how it happens. The outcome, not an outcome. And I'm saying outcome different from a goal. Sometimes you got to let it be and just hold on to faith and press on and feel into it as if you already got it, because you really do. You just need to see it. So let's talk about your belief system. So I've been working to create this program, this coaching program. And like I said in the beginning, it's in its infancy stages, and it's actually around creating a life that, hold on, because I got to pull my notes up. Here we go. So it's about how to create more abundance and feel confident and show up as your authentic self. Well, I truly believe, and this has been my experience, that creating that type of life and feeling that confident to be authentic, to show up authentically, to show up without the conditioning, the old conditioning on you. I feel like that starts with your belief system. And your belief system, once again, is rooted in some level of conditioning. And so we have to look at that. That needs attention, because really, if you want to manifest better relationships with friends, family, a partner, whatever the case may be, a business partner, a romantic partner, whatever, you got to look at the most important relationship first. And that's the one with yourself. Because again, remember, everything you see is everything you experience in your life is reflected back to you. It's reflected back to you and speaks to how you feel about yourself on some level. And so restructuring your beliefs means that what do you believe about yourself? Unjudged, with no judgment right now. What is it that you believe about yourself? Right, wrong, or indifferent? What is it? And then looking at those beliefs and understanding, where does that come from? Understanding the foundation of those beliefs. It all goes back to point one, conditioning. So you got to go back to the root. Before you can create something new, you got to get to the root of how you even got here in the first place. What do you believe about yourself and who you can be? And where does that belief come from? What is that belief rooted in? Is it tied to ego? Is it tied to soul, to your soul? Is it from a low vibratory place? Is it from a high vibratory place? Once you understand that, then you can get into creating a roadmap for changing some stuff. Start to evaluate, that belief really doesn't resonate with me anymore. That belief that ain't really who I feel like I am anymore. And why? Because there's evidence of it in your life. And let me say this, because I don't know who needs to hear this, but for anybody who is wanting to be in a new relationship, wants to be in a committed relationship, I want to find a man. I want to find my husband. I want to I want to be in partnership. I really want to experience love. That starts with you, honey. That starts with you. Because again, your most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself, and that is going to be reflected back to you in other people. In what you allow, in your boundaries, all of it. And so we start to create this roadmap of change. We start to get into bringing some justice into our own life by cutting out things that don't serve us well. And I understand that there's some fear around that because, like I said, all the attachments around that. But at some point, you have to make a decision. A decision is going to have to be made at some point as to whether or not you want to keep doing the same thing and getting the same result, or lean into what lights you up and what opens you up to more abundance. And again, I'm not talking about just money. Imagine how you felt when you quit that job that you didn't want to have anymore. And it's like, damn, I'm free. I can go do anything I want now. I don't have those responsibilities anymore. And we can't be afraid. We have to work through that fear of being and living authentically. It's time to really start to drop the shame of, embarrassing family members or living with guilt and shame that we're not living up to the expectations of people that we're supposed to be, and really start to lean in and be authentic, like keeping it all the way 1,000. And making those changes, those conscious changes, those intentional changes to have authenticity in our lives. Have some compassion for yourself and everyone else involved. Endings and beginnings are going to happen, but we can handle them gracefully with compassion. Have some compassion with yourself first, y'all. So I'm out of time for today. I hope that all this talking has helped somebody. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Soul Healing with Roz and let me know if any of this resonated with you. Also, let me know what other topics you'd like to hear discussed on this show while this show is still a show. You can also find out more about what I'm doing and get more free content there on my social media sites. You can also, again, visit my website to download those 10 tips for mastering your energy at rozkincaid.com. Again, let's do it differently this year, y'all. This year doesn't have to be a repeat of last year. Let's learn some lessons that, let's carry forward the wisdom from the lessons learned from 2020. We can do it differently. You can have better. You deserve better. That's why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because there's contrast there that says, I want better for myself and I need better for myself. The decisions are going to feel tough to make because you're not used to making those types of decisions. But God knows He is on the other side, ready to support you. Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. You got this. All right, y'all. Meet me back here next time for another episode. Until then, stay strong. Stay positive. Stay safe. We're still in a pandemic. Much love, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you again for listening to Soul Healing Conversations. Please join Roz Kincaid again for another program next Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. We'll talk again next week.